New legislation to track Americans online. Expect more rate hikes. Inflation is here to stay. Now, if you plan on doing something that's against the law, you would think that you would try to hide everything about it, right? Which is why it's almost humorous to think that Caroline Ellison, ex-girlfriend of Sam Bankman-Fried, kept a diary of what they were doing behind the scenes. Wait, weren't these kids supposed to be geniuses or something? Now, JP Morgan Chase's Jamie Dimon has just changed his mind about the banking system, even though he's already said recently that it was sound and resilient. He's now saying that we should expect more turmoil. What? This guy can't be serious, right? Now, he also warned that the Federal Reserve will probably raise interest rates above 6%. Now, from Chase, let's move on over to Goldman Sachs, as they're expecting inflation to be a little bit stickier. I mean, hasn't it already been sticky? Tell you what, let's show these guys what we really think. If you think inflation has really been sticky and that we knew that it was going to be around for a long time, comment sticky below. If not, just comment not sticky. And how would you feel if there was a federal agency that was tasked to track your behavior online? Wouldn't that be terrifying? Like using your taxpayer dollars to track you online and be all up in your business? They're trying to tell us about the dangers of AI, but from the sounds of it, from the sounds of this bill, it will give the government access to social media accounts and even other websites. This is insanity at its finest. But let's not waste any more time, guys. Let's get right into the facts. Also, if you own a home, make sure your home is protected. Get your free home warranty quote. There's a link in the description down below. Now, it wasn't very long ago when JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon was quoted in saying this when they acquired First Republic together with its deposits and assets. Quote, "There are only so many banks that were offsides this way. There may be another small one, but this pretty much resolves them all. This part of the crisis is over." End quote. This was what, the start of May? And just a little over 20 days after, he's warning us of another banking crisis. Although they did say that he seemed disinterested in it. Well, he is making $35 million a year, so for him to be disinterested in a banking crisis should be expected. You know what though? This guy might actually be fit for the White House, since the president has also walked back on numerous statements. Remember the entire deal with the tanks and the fighter jets? Well, Jamie Dimon also warned that we should prepare for interest rates to be raised by the Federal Reserve up to 7%. Now, if we get to that point, expect credit to tighten even further. So this means even less loans, and borrowing will become even tighter. And so this is really bad news for businesses all over the country, and we should expect more bankruptcies to be announced as we go along in 2023. Now, some economists argue that raising the rates even further at this point will just be plain irresponsible. Ian Shepardson and Kieran Clancy of Pantheon Macroeconomics said this: "Our beef with the Fed's hawks is that we are firmly on the view that they have already done enough, and that raising rates further, actually not cutting rates very soon, will amount to overkill." End quote. Now, the Fed doesn't expect any rate cuts for 2023, not even if we hit a recession. But heck, it's not like we haven't already hit a recession, right? So here's my take on this. And you guys feel free to answer down below. Are we really just at 5% or so when it comes to inflation? Is that number accurate? Because if we don't raise interest rates beyond that number, then how do they expect to get back to 2%? What are your thoughts on all this? Now, since we talked about banks and inflation, let's hear from Goldman Sachs CEO David Solomon on what he thinks about inflation right now.
I sense that it's going to be stickier. It's come off its peak, but it's going to be stickier and more resilient, which is why, we're kind of managing and expecting that while the Fed may pause and it will be data dependent, you might need to see higher rates, to ultimately control it some more.
Do you guys agree with him? Now, speaking of sticky, wait, I mean sticky in a legal sense, all right? Caroline Ellison, ex-Alameda Research CEO, Sam Bankman-Fried's ex-girlfriend. Well, as it turns out, she kept a personal diary of their escapades, and this is going to be used as evidence against the disgraced and disgruntled FTX founder. Wow. So she's testifying against Bankman-Fried? Huh. Now, I'm sure it's because she wants to do the right thing and not because she'd face up to 110 years in prison before agreeing to do this. Well, there goes Sam under the bus then. And since we're talking about putting people under the bus, why not the American people? With what, you may ask? Well, with the Digital Platform Commission Act of 2023. So the bill was introduced by Senators Michael Bennet and Peter Welch, and its aim is to protect us online. Bennet said this, quote, "There's no reason that the biggest tech companies on earth should face less regulation than Colorado's small businesses, especially as we see technology erode our democracy and harm our kids' mental health with virtually no oversight. Technology is moving quickly quicker than Congress could ever hope to keep up with. We need an expert federal agency that can stand up for the American people and ensure AI tools and digital platforms operate in the public interest. End quote. This is pure bull. This is just another way to infiltrate control by the government. Now, I read through this bill, and for a bill that's supposed to regulate artificial intelligence, you really don't see the term as much in the paperwork. So here's a couple of things that really stuck out to me. You guys should pay real close attention to this, and you guys can look this up. So I saw this one in section 2 where it says, quote, digital platforms remain largely unregulated and are left to write their own rules without meaningful democratic input or accountability. The unregulated policies and operations of some of the most powerful digital platforms have at times produced demonstrable harm, including undercutting small businesses, abetting the collapse of trusted local journalism, end quote. Now, I have a lot to dissect there, but let's just focus on the part about collapsing the trust on local journalism. Do you guys agree with that? Are we now wary of what we watch and listen to because we've been fed lies before? Now, I'm not going to answer that for you guys. You guys already know your answers. The problem is that this bill is extremely vague, meaning that it can be spun into whatever narrative that they may like, which is a huge problem given the fact that they want to add democratic input into these sites. And I say sites because they have access to almost all of it, if not all the sites that we visit. I mean, look at the bill's jurisdiction. It says here that the commission shall have jurisdiction over any digital platform, the services of which originate or are received within the United States and affect interstate or foreign commerce, end quote. So everything. Are you ready for them to do that to us? And what makes it worse is this part where it shows their purpose. This one is in section 4, so you guys can check it out for yourselves. Quote, prevention of harmful levels of concentration of private power over critical digital infrastructure, end quote. These people are trying to control how you think. So you mean Twitter before Elon Musk took over? You want to avoid giving people that much power where they can block users, hold replies to threads, remove a topic from trending, and basically put us in a situation where our speech can just be completely 100% held back. Do you guys think that this is a good idea? If you don't see the warning signs everywhere just glaring at you, then I don't know what to say. This basically gives them power to shut down anyone who doesn't speak in the same narrative that they want and prop up anyone else who's willing to abide by everything that they say. Am I making sense here? Because we know that they can silence us. We've already seen it. This just gives them that much more power about what we can say and show to the people. Forget about conspiracy theories when this happens. But again, tell me what you guys think. You're free to read this entire thing as well, but I'm telling you guys from the get-go, it is looking very sketchy. Almost as sketchy as the inflation numbers that continue to go down while our expenses continue to shoot up. Raise your hand if you're currently having trouble with rent, your car payments, mortgage, credit card bills, food and necessities, basically everything you need to survive. Now, I know a lot of you admit to this fact. This isn't the same US of A. Things have changed a lot, and that means we have to change too. During this economic downturn, we need multiple streams of income, a goal that you can achieve through side hustles and small businesses. And if you want to protect your wealth from inflation's wrath, maybe it's time to consider precious metals like gold and silver as an investment. You can also capitalize on your cash by investing in the stock market and even real estate. Starting these ventures from scratch, it could be kind of tough, but thankfully, we can talk about that here on the channel. If you guys want to learn more about these different money-making opportunities, feel free to drop me some comments down below. Perhaps I'll create more videos on these subjects. It's not going to be easy, but with a little work, we can all achieve financial freedom. Now, right now, you should see 2 videos above my head. Go ahead and click on those videos and check out those videos right after this one. And before I go, please give this video a huge thumbs up, share this video with all of your friends, and subscribe for your daily dose of truth. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll catch you on the next one.